Hello and welcome to the Home Quest Show. We're going to do a little loan lab, and basically that is where I tell you a real experience that I'm having helping someone buy a home. And specifically, this situation is someone trying to buy a home who doesn't have any cash, doesn't have money set aside to buy a home. Now, I know that sounds kind of silly and a little bit backwards, but their situation is they feel comfortable, they can make the monthly payments, but it's getting into the home, covering those costs that's a little bit difficult. And so a lot of people, they fill out a loan application, and I'm going to show you kind of the magic that happens afterwards. You send in a bunch of documents, and then this is what the loan officer is doing. And so the one myth is people think you need, tons of money to buy a home. In general, you do, but sometimes there's situations going on in the market, or there's programs available or gifts you can get from family to make it possible to buy a home with zero out of pocket. And so that's what I want to show, because this is how my clients are going to have to buy a home. So in general, when you're buying a home, there's this formula. You have down payment, you have closing costs, and those together equals your cash to close. And so people wonder, like, well, what is down payment? How does that work out? Depending on the loan type, there's different down payment amounts. So if you're a veteran, you can get a VA loan, and you don't have to put any money down for the down payment. There's still closing costs. USDA loan is for like homes not in metro areas. They're further out, and so that's an option for you if you're looking to buy a home in, I don't want to say the middle of nowhere, but smaller towns. And then probably the most common ones, and the one we're going to focus on today, is the FHA loan, a government loan, and the conventional loan. And now I'm showing the example because this is what I've presented to my borrowers, my clients. This example is for first-time home buyers. So if you're a first-time home buyer using the FHA loan, you only have to put 3.5% down. For a conventional loan, which does require a slightly higher FICO score than FHA, you can get away with 3% down, which a lot of people like. But specifically, we're going to talk about an FHA program. And my borrowers, to be honest, in this situation, they could qualify for conventional, but I'm going to talk about FHA because they need some additional help. Before we move on, and a program that can help with the down payment, I want to make sure I cover closing costs, because too often I've talked to people like, well, aren't those just like additive? Like, can we get rid of those? Are those junk fees? They're not. They're normal fees that you incur when you're buying a home. And so like having a home inspection is very important, because before you buy the home, you get under contract, and then you have the home inspection. And that's a time to figure out kind of the bones of the home. If, like in car buying, you don't want to buy a lemon. The same with buying a home. You want to make sure you have it inspected, you feel comfortable before you move forward with it. The appraisal to see what the home's actually worth, setting up your taxes, setting up your insurance. If you don't have taxes, you don't have insurance, the government can foreclose on you. The lender won't give you a loan, because I know you feel like you're buying the home, but the lender is the one that's putting most of the money forward. And so they want to make sure it's protected. So you got to have insurance. And then title fees, to have the home legally tied to you on that property is owned by you. It's on county records. It's official. Those are normal fees that everyone incurs buying a home, and altogether, again, that equals your cash to close. So let me get into this program. This program, it's a unique one. It's part of an existing FHA program, and there's this little additive part to it. But the gist of the program is that buyers can earn up to 3.5% of their home sales price, and it caps out at $13,000. And the cool thing is that money can be used in a variety of ways. Specifically, and I want to make sure I cover this, that it caps at $13,000. So if you were buying like a $400,000 home, 3.5% is actually more than $13,000. So it'd cap at that. If you're buying a $500,000 home, 3.5% is $17,500. Again, this program caps at $13,000. So, I mean, free money is always nice, but I just want to make sure people understand how this works. And the other cool thing in green we see over here, you don't have to be a first-time home buyer to use this program. So in that case, if you're not a first-time home buyer getting an FHA loan, it's not 3.5%, it's 5%, but still, to get up to $13,000 to help you buy a home is always nice. And here is what the program can be used for. So like we said, first off, it can be used for down payment. The other thing is it can be used for closing costs, which is nice. Another really cool thing is, let's say you have debt that's holding you back from buying a home. Probably the most common that we see is credit cards and car loans. This program, the $13,000, can be used to pay off those debts to help you qualify for the home, which is nice. And there's a whole lot of other things. I'm not going to go into details, but basically the down payment, closing costs, paying off debt, the second to last one down, buying down your interest rate, which will lower your monthly payments after you buy a home, is awesome. So again, this program it's really flexible. Most programs are like, you see this list and it's strictly down payment, or it's strictly closing costs, or a combination of the two. This one, there's a plethora of things you can do with that. How do you like that vocabulary? The twist with this program, there's no such thing as free money. There's always a twist. So to get the 3.5%, you earn this money. You earn this potential $13,000. And basically there's a 6 to 8 hour course to help you earn this program. And the idea is this third party nonprofit is giving this money to help you, and they want to make sure that you're accountable, that you are going to be a good homeowner. They don't want you to go into foreclosure or anything like that. And so they want to assist you. The one thing is you have to get solar panels added to your home. And for some people that's a big deal. For some people it's not a big deal, but that it's part of the program. So it's actually this FHA is an existing program, but there's this subset in it where it's energy efficient mortgage, which is part of the FHA loan, or a solar and wind loan. And basically, they add the solar panels to the home, and so they do add the cost of the solar panels to it. The one nice thing about that is, so you get like the $13,000. You then have to have the solar panels financed into your home loan. But a lot of people, when they buy solar panels, they'll get like a loan from the solar panel company or a lease to pay it off over time. And that interest rate tends to be pretty high. I think most people know, and if you don't, I'm going to shatter your world here. Mortgage rates are like some of the best debt to have because the payments are so low. It's the same thing with credit cards. The credit cards can go up to like a 22, 25, 28% I've seen on credit cards. And so the payment is so high, whereas a mortgage is like 7, 6, 5%. And so that's what they're saying here is you can get the solar loan added to your loan amount, and so it's going to pay off over time. The other part that's really cool is you actually get a tax credit for this, for having an energy efficient home. And so when you do your taxes, they say you can expect to get anywhere between $9,000 to $12,000 in a rebate, which is pretty awesome. Ineligible properties. I want to make sure I cover this. You can't do this on a condo. The reason why you can't do that is condos are unique. You actually own the space inside of the home where you physically live. You don't own the building. You don't own the outside. You don't own the roof. And so because you don't own the roof, the association does, the condo association, you can't add the solar panels to it. Or even if you could, they're going to say no. This program's not going to work with it. The other thing that's really cool about this program is properties that don't pass the renewable energy assessment. So basically the way it works is you send in a property that you're interested in buying. This third party solar panel company looks at it and they say, okay, would adding solar panels be as beneficial to lowering your utilities? Sorry, would the increase in the mortgage, the potential $40,000 that the solar panels cost, you're getting that added to your mortgage, so it's going to add to your payment. Is that going to be more or less than the utilities that you decrease? It has to be less than the utilities. So it has to be beneficial to you because you're going to save on utilities having the solar panels up. And so you have to save more on the utilities than you would have the increase in your solar panels. So basically it's almost a wash or even more beneficial for you. And so for my borrowers, for this example, they don't have money set aside to buy a home. And so I said, okay, what is 3.5%? What's the highest we can get that we're going to cap at that $13,000 in assistance? So that'd be buying a $372,000 home. So running the numbers for them, this is what it would look like. The very top numbers, probably what people are most interested in, is what is the total monthly payment. And now you have to understand that I took liberties because we don't know what the taxes are. That's the one in orange. We don't know what the taxes are on the home. I don't have a property, so I'm just estimating for the zip code, the area that they're looking in, and this value, $372,000. I don't know the insurance. I don't know if there's going to be an HOA, homeowners association fee. But I'm putting all this in there to, one, make sure that my guess is semi-accurate or conservative, like bumped up a little higher than what it would really be. And so the purchase price of the home would be $372,000. You go down, the loan amount is $358,000, but you have the solar panels added. So the loan amount is actually higher than the purchase price. Now, it sounds like you would be upside down. I don't know what the value of, if you add 40 grand in solar panels to a home, does the home increase in value by 40 grand? It's not a 1-to-1 ratio, but the home probably would increase. But I want to make sure, like, I'm being clear with this, that you're technically upside down on the home to start off. The rate we're quoting is a 6.375, the APR 7.158%, which that basically is what's going to control your monthly payment. People get so wrapped up in rates, and it's funny. And then points or credit, you can buy down your interest rate. I don't recommend that in this environment because interest rates are really high right now. And so why spend extra money when you'll probably refinance, and as rates come down, then you'll just refinance and have that new rate. You typically only want to, at least in my philosophy, you don't want to pay extra to lower your rate unless rates are really low already. Like in 2020 when rates were in the 3s or the 2s, then you buy it down even lower and you're going to have that for the rest of your mortgage. It's a beautiful thing. The estimated cash to close on this, so you can see that we've got this number, but you take out the $13,000, and so now all you would need to buy this home is $7,694. And so now we're going to cover the other part. So we've covered the down payment, seller concessions. Seller concessions, I think I actually got this backwards. Yeah, unfortunately. Seller concessions is money that sellers offer to buyers to help them buy their home. So a lot of times sellers are looking to sell their home and they're struggling and they're saying, man, what can I do to get these people to buy my home? They say, maybe if I put some money forward. This is probably information that goes over so many people's heads that they don't understand or they're not aware of. The news will tell you it's harder than ever to buy a home, and it is. But what they don't tell you, at least in our market, in the Phoenix metro area, and every market's different, but in mine, I'm very familiar with this statistic. For the last 15 months, over 50% of homes sold between the $300,000 range to $700,000 range, which is the majority of homes, has had a seller concession. And the average seller concession amount is $10,000. So you combine this, you get a down payment, $13,000 can help you out. Seller concession to help with the closing costs, you can get about $10,000. Now, seller concessions are really cool because you can use it to lower your closing costs. Or you can use it to lower, or if you have enough, you can use it to do both. You can use it to lower your monthly mortgage payment. So if you wanted to buy down your interest rate permanently, you could do that. If you want to do a temporary rate buy down, you can do that as well. So I run the numbers on this one, and let me move my face out of the way here because above me you'll see, and this is probably going to go over a lot of people's heads. If we use the seller concession, I use the example of $8,500. If you use that, we set that aside and we say we want to supplement the monthly payment. We call this a 2-1 temporary rate buy down, where we're going to put that $8,500 and we're going to make it applied to the first 2 years of owning the home. And so you can make it that your monthly payment is less by $400 a month. So if you this 280, this 2,842 number is uncomfortable to you, use a seller concession, get a temporary rate buy down, which over half the homes sold have had a seller concession. This is not far-fetched at all to combine these two programs. And so make your first year's payment $2,400 a month, less than $2,400 a month. Next year it goes up a bit. Years 3 through 30, it goes back to this normal payment. But the truth is interest rates go up and down, and a good loan officer, unfortunately, a lot of loan officers help people just buy the home and then they kind of move on. A good one, what we try to do is coach you. We take it pretty seriously helping people buy homes because we're helping them take on the biggest debt they've ever had in their lives. And so we want to coach them through making it comfortable, helping them build equity, and also pay off the debt as soon as possible. And so the truth is you're not going to have a mortgage you're not going to have the same mortgage that you bought the home with for the rest of your life. You're going to refinance as interest rates come down. And so the likelihood of having the same payment, the 2,842 years 3 through 30, you're probably not going to have it for 30 years. You probably won't have the same mortgage for 4 or 5 years. Interest rates go up and down and they fluctuate. And right now we're at a time where interest rates are pretty high with inflation. And as that gets handled and figured out, rates will come down and you'll refinance. So it's potential that you might never even pay $2,842 a month for your home, which is a beautiful thing. This example is just showing if you were to get the seller concession and also use it to lower your monthly payment. If you don't, you could use it to just cover the closing costs, so it's zero out of pocket for you. So let me move my beautiful face over here. And a lot of people ask, like, well, should I just wait till interest rates come down to buy a home? You can do that. I don't recommend it. And the reason why is because the chance of getting a seller concession, getting extra help to buy a home, is so high. And you'll remember this from 2020, when rates come down, more and more people come out of nowhere to start bidding on homes and say, hey, I want to buy a house now. And as they start buying homes, it's no longer the seller who's saying, hey, let me give you money to help you buy my house. It's the opposite. It's, oh man, I want to beat that guy for this house. I want to beat this guy. Let me offer 5,000 over asking, 10,000, 15, 20, 50. Like we saw insane numbers during COVID, but I'm not saying we're going to see those same insane numbers, but that the multiple people offering on the same houses, you don't get seller concessions. You don't get that kind of help anymore. And the beautiful thing is, as interest rates go down, home prices will go up. So if you get help buying a home right now and rates come down, which they probably will as inflation and everything gets figured out in the next 4 or 5 years. And if everything doesn't get figured out, if there's a massive recession, interest rates will still come down and you can lower your monthly payment. But anyways, let's say we get the soft landing, interest rates start coming down, home prices start going up. You bought this home for less, and now your home starts going up for more. You bought this home potentially with $0 out of pocket, and now you get to see the home appreciate for more and more, and your ownership, your equity in the home goes up as homes appreciate, and they tend to appreciate all the time. Even in bad years, they still appreciate quite a bit. So I would just say, people ask me all the time, like, are there any great deals to be aware of? Yes. And this is like this perfect Venn diagram of sellers. We're in a market, at least in my market, sellers are giving concessions and lenders have programs to help lower the closing costs. So is there anything else after this? Let's see. Yeah, so we kind of covered this formula again. Loan program can help with the down payment, concessions with the closing costs. So I hope that was helpful, and that's what I'm presenting to my clients, and they're looking at homes right now. And so if you have questions and want to figure out, what options are available for you, don't hesitate to reach out. Start your home quest.